As free and open as the blockchain is, there's still a huge gap when it comes to deep analysis, and more specifically, when that analysis needs to be done between the Web 2 and Web 3 sides of your business to kind of blend those two sides together. Luckily, there are some options out there today that are getting closer and closer to finding that right answer of that right blend. And today, we're going to look at 3 of those platforms, help you understand what's available and what works best for your business right now. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a Web 3 marketing strategist, and this is the best place for you to learn about Web3, NFTs, AI, metaverse, all that awesome Web3 stuff, and how to market it all. So that sounds good to you and you're excited. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment to let me know what you think works best for you and your business right now. I would love to know, and let's get started. Okay, so let's be clear about what we want to know here, why we need this thing. The Web3 world is coming with a lot of new technologies that are also providing a lot of data. Anything blockchain related, for instance, is out there in the public domain, but isn't always something that we can incorporate into the understanding of our own business. We're really looking at this from a Google Analytics perspective, because as great as Google Analytics is, it doesn't provide Web3 support yet. So just to get an understanding first of how Google Analytics works, let's run through its key functionality. Google Analytics is a tool designed by Google to allow users to gather data about the activity on their website. So if you want to know how many unique visitors you're getting a day, how many people come back to your site, what page is most visited, the country whose people most often visit your site, the exact path that people take when purchasing from you, all of that sort of stuff can be learned using Google Analytics. But the problem with Google Analytics is that its support in the Web3 world is extremely limited. It's designed so that all the users have to do to get information is plug some tracking code into your site, which is great and allows you to know what's happening there. But the Web3 world allows you to have ownership over more than just what's on your site itself. NFTs and crypto and game assets and metaverse assets, all of these are off-site in the sense that they aren't on your server system, right? And they don't mesh with Google Analytics in any way. So you need a tool that's going to provide you some of that missing data, which is exactly what we're going to do now. So let's jump into these 3 different tools. The first platform I want to talk about is Flipside. So Flipside is a platform that provides a lot of analytics on just about any bit of Web3 data that you can think of. It provides data for 13 different blockchains, including the most prominent ones like Ethereum and Bitcoin. But the really amazing thing here is that it's community driven. The creators of each dashboard are people that are already ingrained in the Web3 community and world. What this essentially means is that any creator can decide that they want to know something, and then they can create a metric to measure that thing. So if you want to be able to measure the floor price of the Bored Ape Yacht Club as it relates to the price of DAI, you could do that using this tool, which sounds great, right? But you're also going to notice those are all kind of forward-facing public things. It might have you wondering how you could use this tool to measure your own activity on your own website, but that truly is possible using this service. Because again, this is measuring anything on chain. So if you have an NFT that you're running on a particular blockchain, it's as simple as running the search query that you want for that NFT project. And then you can cross-reference any of that information with what's on your website to start making correlations. But that said, there are of course a few downsides, and we need to talk about them. First and foremost, there isn't a way right now to draw a direct and clear line between your different on and off-chain marketing activities. This app is querying the blockchain, so it provides blockchain data, kind of like how Google Analytics 4 queries off-chain data on your website, right? But understanding how the two play together is still just not perfect. You're still running a bit of a billboard style math calculation here to determine the impact. So what I mean by that is, you've driven past billboards all your life on the highway, and what people are doing when they put those ads up is they're saying, well, we can't know exactly how many people are coming to our website, for instance, as a result of this billboard. But we can say that we have X number of people that have passed the billboard, and our website visitors have increased this % since the time that we put this billboard up. So we can make a correlation here. So if you know what you're doing, you can get pretty close to making a very strong correlation as long as you understand how to isolate that information. And the other problem here is ease of use. So I started this video off describing how easy it is to install Google Analytics. It's a pixel and they do the rest. But with Flipside, if you want to run an analysis, you have to know SQL. Now, as coding languages go, SQL is pretty simple, but it's still a coding language. You still have to have some understanding. Sure, you could use something like ChatGPT to get you some of the way there, but if you don't know what you're doing, most of those AI softwares are just not going to be able to get you the whole way there. You have to know something about SQL or hire somebody who does. Okay, moving on to the second platform, which is CryptoQuant. So this is kind of similar to Flipside, but there are a few awesome additions. So first, remember how Flipside wasn't possible to write a query without SQL knowledge? We just talked about that. That's not the case here with CryptoQuant. CryptoQuant offers a no-code solution to run analyses and dashboards. It's supposed to be a simplified version of what you can achieve using the SQL model if you want to use that model, but it's honestly strong enough for most people and most use cases to run with straight away. Now, it is true that when you're trying to build your own no-code solution, there's still a lot of information that you have to sift through, but I found that if I have a particular goal in mind, it's pretty easy to find what I'm looking for. But that, of course, isn't the only way to get information from CryptoQuant. You don't have to create your own solutions. In fact, the first thing that you're going to see when you open the site is data provided by other users. This data is community-driven, it's very intense, and it's very professional. You're not getting raw charts with no explanation here. You're getting something that feels like it belongs in a boardroom. It provides you context and a lot of information that you can use to make actionable decisions. But what if you don't want to rely on user-generated charts at all? If that's the case, stop being so picky, first off, but you can go with the standard indicators that are applied to your coin of choice. And it isn't just a few indicators, it's hundreds of charts that are just there for you to analyze straight away. So no matter what you're looking to accomplish, you can do it with this system, which means that you can create queries like you did on Flipside. There are still some correlation and causation problems like you saw on Flipside, but in this case, you can be sure that it isn't going to be super complicated to build those queries out yourself because you don't have to know SQL every time. And the last platform I want to cover here is Unleash NFTs. Now, this one is admittedly not as robust as some of the others here, but it does provide some great data about NFT collections. So if I wanted to know about what's happening with Azuki, I just search for them and I get a quick idea of how they're doing. I can also get more details about who holds them, whether wash trading has occurred, etc. So wash trading, just to be clear, is whether someone has sold the NFT to themselves to generate the feeling that sales are occurring, which is obviously not something that you want because it is fraudulent, right? And there's a lot more detail you can get as well. That's just some examples. Now, I'll say that for accounts without a whole lot of recent activity, it's not going to be able to provide much information. So it isn't providing things like a full history of the blockchain, but it's still useful for what it is, which is something that's going to allow you to get a feel for a collection and its performance, which might raise the question, how are you supposed to use this for your business and your collection? There's always a way to get actionable data, but this is most useful for your NFT collection as it relates to any promotions that you've put on. So if you want to get more unique purchases, aka less repurchases, you might make a plea on your very popular Discord server, and that might drive people onto the exchange to buy your product. It seems very piecemeal and very slow, but it's possible to get clear data when you isolate the sources like this. Unfortunately, that's about the best you can get from this platform. It is undoubtedly better than the data that you get from OpenSea because their analytics, while better than they were a year ago, are still pretty weak, but this can help you to make some crucial marketing decisions. So there you go. These tools can be a huge help to bridge that gap between your Web 2 and Web 3 solutions and the problems that you're facing with connecting those two. Let me know if this helped you to make better decisions and which ones you picked. I think that they're all helpful, but CryptoQuant would probably be my choice since it envelops all the rest. Otherwise, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.